Episode 45, 100 Simple Life Truths. I'm be honest, I want all the money. I want every dollar. I want every single dollar. And I'm on a mission. I'm on a mission because the things that I want in life, they require money. And I'm about to go get that money. I'm about to go get every single dollar. Every single dollar. I'm going to get it. I promise you. I'm motivated. I'm motivated. I'm ready. And not only am I living, I'm living in the future, knowing that it's gonna be good. But I'm living in the present, knowing that I gotta go through what I'm going through in the present in order to get to the future. So I'm doing everything that I need to do to achieve those goals. I'm about to light a candle to achieve those goals. This is episode 45, 100 Simple Life Truths. Candle is lit. I'm creating my space. I'm creating what I want. I am creating what I need. You know what I mean? So y'all might hear the candle cracking. It's cause I like my candles very weird. But whatever. Don't let your current circumstance control your future. Don't let your current circumstance control your future. Understand that it takes a minute for your current circumstance to change. And it doesn't take much for you. Maybe it does, but I feel like you need to jump on it as early as possible in terms of getting the future that you want. And we all got the same ambitions, we all got the same goals in variation. Like a lot of us really just want to be happy. A lot of us just really want to be rich and famous, right? A lot of us just want to travel. A lot of us want to do this, want to do that, but it's all pretty much the same goal in variation. In variation. In order to get that, you gotta stay focused. You gotta stay on the grind. You gotta produce. You gotta show up every day, every morning, every night, every afternoon. You gotta show up and you gotta put the work in. You gotta do something towards that goal every single day, even if it's just reading up on how to do it. Just getting that knowledge is a small step, but it's one small step for mankind. One small step for your present is a giant step for your future, which is of course a remix on the obvious quote, you know. Yeah, it's something about me right now that's just super focused and super motivated to just go and get it. And every day is something that just clicks to where it's like, okay, now I know, or now I know, or I might do it this way instead of doing it that way. I might switch up and do it that way instead of doing it this way. And it always makes sense. Like, and sometimes you got to make those sacrifices for the greater good. You got to weigh your options and make the sacrifice for the betterment of what you want in out of life. And I could attest to that because I uploaded the last video 44, and then I just had a slight epiphany on my weekend plans. And I thought to myself, now I could go do this and it can give me a medium boost, so I can go do something else and it can just skyrocket me. And I thought, damn, it's gonna be a sacrifice because the medium boost is like more fun, so to speak. And the skyrocket thing is a lock in. It's me locked in. So I'm gonna have to do a variation of the two. Haven't decided what that looks like yet, and that's okay. But you know, I got a couple hours to figure it out. But we're gonna get straight into this episode, which is kind of a lie because I just filibustered for 5 minutes almost. So, but I am gonna get into it though. It's called episode 45, 100 Simple Life Truths. Y'all know why we here. I am your host. Hopefully, y'all learned something about yourselves today. Hopefully, y'all can teach me something about myself today. Hopefully, hopefully. This one is called Ghostbusters, which the original movie is phenomenal. I haven't seen anything other than I think the original two. The original two. Not one of my favorite franchises, to be honest with you. Just not really my type of movie. But this one is called Ghostbusters. It's not that long. I'm gonna try to swing through it real quick. Hopefully, we can learn something about ourselves, learn something about each other, learn something about our future, our past, our present, and just get up and get. Speaking of the past, you can't unsee what you've seen. You can't unsee what you've seen. Now, yeah, you can try to forget about it and move on and this, that, and the third, but you can't unsee what you've seen. And sometimes the past does affect our present, but we can stop the past from affecting our future. Just think about that for a little bit. The past can definitely affect our present, but we can stop it from affecting our future. But at the same time, you can't unsee what you've seen, and that you can use what you've seen as a push. Use what you've seen as the cannonball, or use what you've seen to move you forward. It's just that simple. It's easier said than done, but it's possible. It's possible. Ghostbusters. Let's get into it. We're all haunted by ghosts, the ghosts of our past. The intense regret that comes from the mistakes we're bound to make on this journey of life. The haunting is optional, though, as the past isn't real and neither are the ghosts unless we allow them to be. So yeah, you can't unsee what you've seen, but you can make it obsolete. You don't have to harp on it. You don't have to make it you. You don't have to make your past you. You can change who you are currently right now. It's all about mindset. It's all about putting your mind to it and doing it, putting the work in. I told y'all before, sometimes you gotta close your eyes and just open up and just say what it is that you need to do out loud and just go do it. Just go do it. It made no sense to know what you gotta do and not going to do it. Speaking of which, I gotta charge my camera. But yeah, no such thing is no, it makes no sense to, excuse me, know what you gotta do and not do it. Makes no sense. On a daily basis, I, like everyone else, am plagued with the coulda, shoulda, wouldas of life. I catch myself wishing I made better decisions on certain situations. Yeah, don't we all? My life would be so much. We could all look back on one decision we made, and if we would have done maybe the complete opposite or just something slightly different, how life could have been completely different today. But that's cool. Now we know in the future to take more time and before we act, take more time before we do the things that might affect us, because all your actions in the present affect your future. Your actions right now can affect your past. Impossible. Impossible. I also wish I could take back things I've done and said to people who are no longer in my life. Yes. The reality is I simply can't. Regret is a pointless practice and an expensive one at that. Agreed. Agreed. I can honestly say I do have some regrets in life, but I can't I can't necessarily let it affect me as much because it is what it is. And just because you will go back to the past and change some things doesn't mean your life will be better just based on those things changing. Maybe you needed to go through that. Maybe you needed to experience that to be where you are right now and realizing that you made the mistake back then, so now you can take that into your future and make it even better. So if you would have never went through that thing or had that regret, maybe you would have never made it to where you are now. Your past actions can change could have changed your present for the good or the worse. We like to always think that, damn, if I would have did this, I would have been in a better place, but that's not necessarily true. That's not necessarily true. We can only make sure we have get our best outcome with the future by giving our best outcome right now, by doing our best right now in the present. Because the things that we did in the past, who knows how that would have affected us. That one situation could have came out perfectly, but then you would have never had the lesson. You would have never had that experience to go through a different situation that you went through. And though those two may not be correlated, it still happened. And the first lesson, the first situation, had it been different, would have never led you into the second situation. Would have never led you into the third situation. Would have never led you to where you are now. So yes, regrets are pointless and expensive. So, not saying not to understand the mistakes that you feel like you made in your past. Sometimes those are not mistakes. Sometimes that's exactly what was supposed to happen. The person that you lost, the person that's no longer in your life, maybe they were never meant to be there in the first place. Maybe that situation was there built to change you. Not necessarily for the good, not necessarily for the bad. Just change is change. Change is inevitable. It goes on to say the only thing in our possession is the present, like right now. Tomorrow isn't promised. Yesterday never will never happen again. What's done is done. I'd be idealistic to assume we can live free of our past as we are the product of it, but we can use those experiences to extract lessons that will benefit the present and subsequently the future. It's pretty much what I've been saying. Pretty much what I've been saying. Just because we can't sit there like and act like the past didn't affect our present, but our present will affect the future. Simple as that. Life's a painting comprised of brushstrokes. Every moment is a brushstroke, and there's very little you can do once the paint is on the canvas. The skills that we can develop slowly is to filter out the best from each moment and allow the rest to disappear as it should. So yeah, like I said previously, you get those experiences, and those experiences become tools to get through the things that's gonna happen in your life in the future. You know what I mean? So right now is right now. When I turn this video off, that's technically the future. 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes into the future is still the future. I could get a call, and that one call could change my life. How I react to that call could change my life. I could call somebody and change their life. It's all about how we react in the present. The past is the past. And you could have been a horrible person in the past, but as long as you take accountability for what you was or how you was, and make conscious efforts every day in your present to be better, hey, you changed. You changed. And that's good. That's good. Life in the moment. It's a life what? Life in a moment. It's cliche, but it's true. These moments are gifts squandered while we focus on one that has already passed, which is true. You're wasting time focusing on things that already happened when you could be enjoying the things that are yet to happen or things that are currently happening right now. Simple. Simple, simple, simple. Things that are happening right now are meant to be enjoyed, meant to be, I feel like the word that's coming to mind is liberating, but they're meant to be enjoyed, really. Life is meant to be enjoyed. And of course, you got to go through the struggles and you got to grind to make sure that your future is set, but the future is going to be the future regardless of anything. Like, of course, 100% put the work in for the future and make sure you're dedicating your time to making sure that everything that you want in your future, you're putting in the hands of the future. But don't let your current, don't let life right now be wasted because of how you want it to be in the future. And yeah, I know I say sacrifice, 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 but you got to find enjoyment in it. You got to find enjoyment in the journey. I've said that plenty of times. Find enjoyment in the journey. If you're driving, I used the analogy last time. If you're on a road trip, you're not just gonna drive and look forward and just focus on the cars in front of you. You're gonna look around and look at the mountains. You're gonna look at the water under the bridge that you're driving over. I mean, you're gonna make those stops at those rest stops, and eat the random food at the gas station or whatever the case may be. You know what I mean? So it's all about enjoying the journey as you're on it and enjoying the destination once you're there. That's it. Enjoy the journey when you're on it. Enjoy the destination as you're there, and it's all growth. It's all growth. And remember, once you remember the my one of my other quotes that I like is, "There's no growth in your comfort zone, and there's no comfort in your growth zone." So either you want to grow and be slightly uncomfortable until you filled out, or you want to just be comfortable and never grow, never get better, never do anything outside of the box, never experience the things that are meant to be experienced in life. You want to stay in your box and stay comfortable. Gotta step. I'm not saying step completely into discomfort, but a little bit of discomfort every day never hurt. You can continue doing the things that make you comfortable, make you that don't excel you in your life journey, but you gotta at least put in 10, 20 minutes a day into studying. Sometimes studying can be really boring. It's uncomfortable to just sit there and read a book. Sometimes you don't feel like the you may have a short attention span, or you just may not have the desire to learn the little bit of details that makes up the bigger picture. That's it. It's like learning how to build a car when you're learning how to weld the hinges onto the door. That's not really interesting part of the series. The interesting part is building the engine. But in order to drive the car, you want to make sure you have a door on it. You know what I mean? You want to make sure that it's covered. You want to make sure the little details that you learn that don't seem interesting are there for the bigger picture. So every little effort that you put towards your future makes the bigger picture. Every mile on the journey equals the destination. Every mile on the journey equals the destination. I amaze myself sometimes, but it's true. It's true. Every mile on the journey equals the destination. So enjoy every mile. Enjoy every mile. So once you get to the destination, you can actually sit back and relax. But you gotta have some sort of discomfort. And we go back to the driving analogy, highway hypnosis. You be on that journey for a while. You be on that journey for a long time. It's happened to me when I've driven from New York to St. Louis, and I'm dozing off, falling asleep like, oh my god, it's boring, it's tiring. But instead, I should have just been up, just enjoying the scenery of what it was, enjoying the scenery of what it was. He goes on to say, we're we're happiest when we're in the moment. It's probably why folks have sex, gamble, drive their cars really fast, meditate, or do any other activity that dissolves a wandering mind. Mhm. I agree with it. I agree with it. I agree with it. In we're happiest when we're in the moment. It's probably okay. I agree with that. But you got to find some type of enjoyment in the journey as well. You got to find some type of enjoyment in the journey as well. The fact remains that the past no longer exists, and if we dedicate our limited presence to pondering it with no benefit to our nows and tomorrows, then we're sabotaging ourselves. Don't sabotage yourself. You are on this earth to be your own best friend. You are on this earth to help yourself. You are your biggest asset. You are your biggest ally. You are your biggest motivation. You should be your biggest inspiration. You should be the best for you. So don't sabotage yourself thinking about your past, thinking too heavy on your future, because the future is gonna come regardless of whether you want it or not. It's gonna come. Your actions now, of course, are gonna make it either better or worse, but they're gonna come. And you always have time in the future to correct it. In terms of, if you make a goal, let's say for the next 5 days, like I want to be here in the next 5 days, and you don't get there, guess what? You could just make that goal again and double it up for the next 5 days, or this time give yourself 10 days. You know what I'm saying? So the future will come when it's supposed to come. You just have to make sure you stay on the path. Don't deviate too much. You may have to take a little detour. You may have to take some steps back. You may, you know what I mean? But stay focused. Make sure that the goal is always the goal. Never lose focus on the goal, but enjoy the journey to the goal. Enjoy the journey to the goal, because you may miss the goal. And this is why I say don't identify too much with the goal. Don't identify too much with the goal, because once you say the goal doesn't come precisely when you expect it to, then you're more damaged than you deserve to be. He says, letting go of the past is scary but liberating. Is a scary but liberating process. Not claiming it's either. Nothing worthwhile ever is, but that's what you're thinking of. You, me, another five. He said, you, me, another five. He probably means you owe me another five. I don't know. Not claiming that it isn't easy. Nothing worthwhile ever is, but if that's what you were thinking, you, me, another five. Yeah, he meant you owe me another five. Free yourself from the past, from your past. The present is a gift, and you deserve to enjoy it. Simple. The present is the gift, and you deserve to enjoy it. Enjoy the journey. Enjoy the journey. Stay dedicated. Know for a fact that everything that you want in the future is gonna come. Everything you're working on right now is gonna come. Even the mistakes that you make. Even the mistakes that you make is still part of the process. Enjoy it. You're only human. We're all only human at the end of the day. No one's perfect. We all gonna make mistakes. We all gonna fall off the journey for a little bit. But guess what? As long as you get back up, that time that you fell off becomes the past. Don't think about it. Learn from it, but don't think about it. Learn from it. Learn from everything you do, the good, the bad, the ugly. Learn from it, and take those lessons into your current and present, into the future when things aren't going the way you expected them to, like they have in the past. You know how to react. You know how not to let it destroy you. It's easy. It's easy. It's easier said than done. It's easier said than done. But this is episode 45, and we're almost halfway through. And if you've listened to every episode, I can guarantee you that you're just at least 1% better. If you've listened to every episode and applied 1% of the knowledge that I gave you, you're at least 1% better. I know I'm way more than 1% better from when I started episode 1 to me finishing episode 45. I know I'm way more than 1% better. I literally feel untouchable. I've literally gained so much knowledge about self and how I interact with the world and how the world interacts with me that I feel quite untouchable. And I know for a fact I'm going to make some more mistakes. I know for a fact I'm not perfect. I know for a fact that my future is going to have its challenges. But guess what? I'm ready for them because I've equipped myself with the tools to deal with anything. In the beginning of the year, we go and we buy our rain boots and we buy our jackets and our umbrellas. We don't know it's gonna rain. We don't know that for sure. We might buy it may not rain. It may not snow. But we go and we buy in the beginning of winter, we go and we buy our rain boots, we buy our jackets, we get our umbrellas, and we get prepared. We get prepared. We're like, okay, the season is coming where it's gonna be a little cold. Gotta have a jacket. It might rain, it might snow. Gotta have our rain boots, our snow boots. Buy a hat, buy an umbrella, right? Now I remember some winters it didn't snow. It didn't rain. But we still had those rain boots, we still had those jackets. And it's better to have it than to not have it. It's better to have those skills to be able to get through the things that may or may not happen than to go through things that you knew were going to happen, or things that you can't anticipate, things that you know is part of the process. We all going to take losses. You got to prepare yourself to take them and get through them. You got to prepare yourself to take them and get through them. And buying that jacket is equivalent to failing in a controlled environment. Listening to these series getting the things, learning about yourself, that all prepares you for the things that you're going to go through in the future, which the future will be your current present. And if you don't have the tools for it, then you're going to get soaked. You're going to get wet. You might it's going to be more uncomfortable than if you had the tools and you can take a minute and step back and be like, okay, I know what's going on here. I know what test this is. I studied for this. I'm ready for this. And you go and you pass it. And then once that situation is done, guess what? You may have some rest. You may get to chill for a little bit, but something else is going to come. Life is, things happen. Everything, we all go through things in life. No one's immune to that. No one can escape it. It's how we react to it. How are we prepared for it? Be prepared. Be prepared. Be prepared. Be prepared. You take the things that you went through in the past, you learn, and you prepare yourself to identify those things in the future. And with that being said, I hope y'all learned something about yourselves. I learned something about myself today, so that's not to be rude, but that's all that matters. That's all that matters. I learned something. Hopefully y'all learned something as well. Hopefully if you've listened to every episode of you, even if you listen to 1, 2 episodes, you just randomly came across this episode, hopefully you learned something. Hopefully at the end of it, after this 26 minutes, you feel at least 1% better. Because 1% better every day is unstoppable. It's quite unstoppable. And with that being said, y'all know what time it is for the quote. Got it here. I got it here. I'm still trying to learn it. I think it's better for me to read it, because then I every time I read it, I get interested in a different part, and then I've been dissecting this quote for a while. I think maybe 10 episodes now. 10 episodes now I've been listening to this. I'm reading this quote. I could be wrong though. So, of course, as you guys know, you could say it with me, is your pain is the breaking of the shell that encloses your understanding. Again, your pain is the breaking of the shell that encloses your understanding. It is the bitter potion by which the physician within yourself heals your sick self. Therefore, trust the physician and drink his remedy in silence and tranquility. The only person you can 1000% trust in this world is yourself. It should be. Some people don't trust themselves. They know that if they're getting put into certain situations, they're going to fold, they're going to slip. But even knowing yourself and knowing that you shouldn't be in those situations is trusting yourself not to put yourself in those situations. So trust the physician within yourself that's ready to heal you, that's ready for you to understand him better than you understand anything else. So your pain, which is the pain, the suffering that you're going through while learning yourself, the things that you need to hear about yourself, or the things you need to go through in order to learn, in order to be better for the future, for the big test. That pain is just the shell that's enclosing your understanding. And the more you crack that shell, the more pain you go through, the more you'll understand. And the more you'll be liberated, and the more you'll understand yourself, which is the most important thing in life, is understanding yourself. It is the bitter potion by which the physician within you heals your sick self. Now, we all have a part of ourselves that's a little bit off, that's not ready to understand, or isn't understanding, or is seeking more. It's sick and it needs something to heal it. It needs something to get back to understand. And your understanding is what it needs. Your understanding is what it needs. So when you're getting this knowledge, some things may be so interesting or may be so baffling that it's like oh my God, like what the hell? It's like you might get information overload, but you need to trust the information, trust yourself, that yourself is understanding it as much as it needs to right now, and drink the remedy, take the knowledge in silence and tranquility. That's it. That's it. That's all I got for y'all today. That's all I got. I hope y'all learned something about yourselves today. This was Ghostbusters, episode 45 of 100 Simple Life Truths. And with that, yeah, I forgot. I didn't even tell you at the time. I usually tell you at the time. It's currently it's 7:10, August 30th. So 8:30, 7:10. 8:30, 7:10. Other than that, enjoy.